It's the intro about the show, which tells you a little bit more about the background of becoming a trainer and all the sciences that you need to learn. And of course, I'm not for everybody. So the whole point is that you want to invest in yourself. You want to invest in a way that's meaningful, that's going to get you to the next level, and you want to find whatever you're ready for. But the point is to get ready and then do something, and do something different outside of your comfort zone, like a little bit different, because again, you're not going to grow or change if you're staying safe with the things you think you know. Because the things you think you know are what you keep doing and you're still not happy, we have to deduce the things you don't know are not working. Right?
That's true.
Right? I mean, to me, it's kind of logical, but I'm kind of that crazy person, so.
But it's good, though. Like, you got to have somebody like that in your life, to tell you, okay, you know what? It's not working. What you've been doing, I hate to tell you, it's not working, and it hasn't worked, and it's not going to work.
Yeah, and what's really great and a little neurotic is that I could tell you why for all those things. I'll never tell anybody, look, this isn't working.
Yeah.
Period. I'll say, I don't think this is working, and here's why. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. It'll be whatever it is for the scientific reason. But the choice always has to be. So if you're unwilling, you were talking about looking at like the trainers' clients. And I've come to this point in my career, because when you start out in this kind of service industry, you do get wrapped up in your client's success because you think it's a reflection of you. It's almost like parenting. But the reality of it is not, because you can't control what they eat. You can't control that they don't do what you say. Like we were discussing before we started recording, that there's a statistic that about 20% of the patients who have heart attacks, that doctors tell them, you have to change your life or you will die. Only 20% actually do. So when it comes to being motivated, if you're not going to learn why and be attached to the positive reason of why you want to make change, then you're waiting around for the pain. And even when the pain comes, it still doesn't mean you're going to do it. And it still doesn't mean you're going to do it well. So you really want to get clear about what get clear about what motivates you, what feels good, what you want your life to be like, and then find the support in that. And again, take that step outside of your comfort zone. Invest in yourself in some way that's different. And again, search for learning. When you learn more, like I take care of my body because the more I learn, the more I respect it. Yeah. And I think that's really important, because if I just told you to do something without explaining why or making you love your body a little bit more or being in awe of it, you may not care. But if you can actually know that when I'm doing this exercise in this way, it means I'm wearing my knees down, I'm going to have knee pain in about 5 years, you probably won't do it that way.
Right.
But if I tell you to do the same exercise with this form, and I say, you know what, this is going to help preserve your cartilage, so you're going to build muscle and you're not going to wear down your joints, you're probably going to want to do it this way.
Right.
Right. So the education is not so that you do it to please your trainer or your friend or whoever. The education is so that you actually love and respect and care for your body. Because if you're not coming from that place, and this is all about shaming yourself and beating yourself up and not liking yourself, again, it's a spiral effect if it's not going to work, because we intuitively know that we're supposed to love ourselves. So anytime you shame yourself, you want to rebel against yourself. And that creates that pattern of emotional eating, of rebelling against the gym, of hating it, because you're like, no, why should I do that? Why should I have to do that? You don't have to do that. You don't. But it's really changing that pain point of coming from love and respect versus coming from fear, shame, and guilt.
You know what's amazing to me, what you were saying, that only 20% of people change their diet. That's crazy.
Well, diet and exercise.
Exercise.
It's the whole lifestyle. It's stress and stress management and reduction. Although I do lots of presentations, and I've reformulated, and I never say stress management, because let's think about that. Stress management to me means you're rearranging the articles on my desk. Right. You are managing, but they're not going away. I'm about stress reduction and elimination. And if that's you, just another plug for my event, because again, I don't know if I'm going to do it again. So just if in case it interests you at all and you're willing to come on out to California, or you can do it on the virtual ticket. We also offer a virtual ticket. But if you feel like you can't get out of your stress loop, you're going to get tools on why you're in the stress loop, on why you use stress as an addiction to avoid your feelings, and how to problem solve your stress so it goes away. Because that's the point, right? You want to be able to not feel that tension in your body and in your head every day. You want to make it less. You want to feel breezy and easy and flowy and calm and peaceful and centered and grounded and right? Isn't that what we want to feel?
Yeah.
Relaxed.
Yeah. Especially, it's like living in the city, and not even just like living in the city. It's just like so much stuff, negative stuff, out in the world that, even if you don't, you can't help but embrace what is happening in the world, that you start to wonder and, you get nervous about certain things, like for me, for example, like a lot of the stuff that is, happening like with politics, and because, like my mom's a Jehovah's Witness. So of course, like I read the Bible and I learned a lot of stuff about, things that are happening and, natural disasters and stuff like that. So when I see all of a sudden like crazy things happening, I just think to myself, I was like, wait, is this like the end of the world? And then like everything that's happening. So of course, like I kind of get stressed a little bit over it, and the other day, I don't know if it's like so much stuff that, you see in the news. I had a dream. Like I had a dream and I woke up in the morning and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm like, what is this dream about? I had a dream that it was like, I guess it was like the end of the world, where you had to go to like higher ground, because to like try to sort of save yourself, so I remember everyone getting on top of like surfboards to try to like get to like higher ground. And I remember also that there was like a couple, that I knew. I don't even know who they were, but like in my dream, like I knew them, and they stayed like lower ground. And I remember in my dream thinking to myself, like looking back and thinking, but wait, what happened to so-and-so? Like, and someone said to me, oh no, because, I guess they were like in peace with God, and they knew they were going to make it to like the next world. And so their death was going to be painless and it was just going to be quick or something. So they just kind of stayed there in like this home that they were in, where it was just like their last warmth. And, I don't know, it was just...
That was a very vivid dream.
Yeah. It was just so weird. And, so of course I woke up and I was like, oh my God. I'm like, where's this dream coming from?
Sounds like the dream is giving you a choice of two different paths. One is acceptance and peace, making peace with things. And the other is to flee and resist, potentially. I mean, that would be one interpretation.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, I'm not saying if, a flood came, we didn't want to die,
right.
you try to escape. But if it was sort of that everyone was going to die, how you make peace with that and become one with that. I mean, what message did you get from that when you got up? What did you think it meant?
I thought it meant like, I need to take my ass back to church.
Alrighty then. That was God calling through your dream. There you go.
I mean, that's how I took it. I was like, perhaps maybe I need to, go back to like start having a routine of like religion with my kids, I was like, I don't know. That's how I took it. I was like, could that be like that sign where if anything happens, with the world, then at least I'm in peace, that I've did my thing as a mother, trying to, guide my children to have some sort of knowledge of God. Like they used to, but now more than ever, you know what I mean? So that was how I interpret it. Like at least I did it like as a mother, because they can't, they can't just go and like, oh, I'm going to go to church. Like, you have to like take them. So I thought, I think that's what that is.
Maybe there's a little bit of guilt that you feel about not going.
Yes.
And maybe that dream was to show you the guilt's real.
Yeah.
And you haven't made peace with that. So really the call to action is just take them to church.
No, I think it is. I think it is because I do keep telling my kids, I'm like, we got to start going again. And we start going again, but I haven't made that effort to say, you know what? Next week, we're going to do it on this day. So that's probably what it is.
Sounds like it. Yeah, our dreams are real powerful. I've done a couple shows on dreams.
Really?
I'm not the dream expert. I have Kelly Sullivan Walden on. Shout out to Kelly.
Kelly Sullivan?
Yeah.
Oh my God, yeah.
So she's on my show several times.
Yeah.
And we talked about dream interpretation. And she's a hypnotherapist as well. And what she teaches people and what I believe is that also, your subconscious is your dreams are your subconscious playing things out and letting you know what you're thinking about. And sometimes it's a use to play out something that you fear. Sometimes it's just a message. And sometimes I think we actually even connect to other planes. I think we connect to people who've passed on. I think we connect to ideas and thoughts we're unwilling to think about in our conscious state. So I think we just really could use our dreams, like you are, to really motivate you to say, this is really important to me and I have to stop ignoring it.
Speaking of like past life, it's so true, because that happened to me one time. Like there's this one gentleman that, I used to date a long time ago. Then we just kind of like became friends. But it's one of those things where, we stopped dating because he wanted more and I could not give him more than, whatever we had. So we just sort of moved on, but we still remained in touch, meaning, he'd always reach out. Like if it was like my birthday, Mother's Day, he'd always like, happy Mother's Day, happy birthday. And if he had events, he would always invite my kids and I to his events. And we would always go to his events. Well, he ended up passing away. He just, like in an accident. He had a car accident, like he fell, I think he was like going up on the cliff and then like his car just rolled. Yeah. So he ended up dying. And the weirdest thing was that after that happened, I was so uneasy at my place. I kept feeling like that. This is like the weirdest thing. Like I kept feeling that he was there watching.
He probably was.
And I could not really use the bathroom at my place because I felt like he was, because like for me, the kind of person that I am, it's like I can never go number 2 in front of anybody. I just can't. It's like that's like the one thing that I won't share. Like even if I'm in a relationship, and even when I was married to, my kid's father, I would never I didn't mind peeing in front of him, or if we were in the bathroom.
I think that's pretty normal. I mean, as you're talking about, I'm thinking, have I ever done that? I don't think I've done that either. So no. I think that's pretty normal.
Yeah. So I would never do that. So whenever I had to go, I was like, oh my God, I'm like, but I feel like, he's here. Like, I feel like he's watching. And I was so embarrassed and shy. Cut to one night, I don't know how long after that, when he passed away to when my dream, I had a dream where he came to my dream and he took me to the afterlife where he was at to let me know that he was okay and everything was okay. And I just remember he came and, I hopped in his car, in his Jeep, and he took me, and it was just like this very beautiful paradise where all of a sudden, I saw a couple of people that I knew, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm like, Irene is here too. And I was like, wow, I had no idea that she passed away. And so he was just showing me, and I remember at one point saying to him, aren't they going to be really upset that you're bringing me here because I'm not supposed to be here? Because I belong to,
you're still in the physical world.
Yeah, I'm in the physical world, and I'm not supposed to be here. And he's like, no. So and I remember just being this really beautiful place, and that was it. So as soon as I woke up, I was at peace. I didn't feel anymore that he was watching or anything. We had a conversation. He took me and showed me around, and that was it.
There's a beautiful book by Dr. Eben Alexander called Proof of Heaven. And for anyone that wants to read it, it's a gorgeous book, and it made me think about it when you're talking about the scene that you saw where he took you, because Dr. Alexander he was a brain scientist, a neurosurgeon, and he contracted a very specific kind of I'm trying to remember what the disease is in his brain. But before that, he was very skeptical about people that had near-death experiences and basically poo-pooed that didn't exist, that all those were illusions, and he could show you how they were illusions. And then, of course, he attracted, in my opinion, it's complete perfect law of attraction, because his yearning was to believe, but his science kept making him not believe. So I think he actually manifested this exact meningitis. That's what it is. This exact kind of meningitis that literally targeted that exact part of the brain. He told people he could prove what they experienced was an illusion, and he crossed over and he came back, and he wrote Proof of Heaven. I mean, and so now his life is been forever changed. But it's one of those beautiful stories, and I absolutely believe that we don't actually die. We're either focused, we're like the sunbeams from the sun. Mm-hmm. We're either physical and always non-physical, or we're just all non-physical. And so one of my clients actually, who is completely, I love him to death, is unconscious as he walks around his life completely distracted because he's got so much stress. But when he goes to sleep at night, everyone who's ever passed on, parents, girlfriends, co-workers, come to him And they're all new experiences. They're not memories. And I'm like,
Yeah.
that's